Record. Okay, so we got a big crowd here tonight. Welcome, everyone. We're so excited to be here tonight with the Hartt School. My name is Joanne Fenton, and I am a vocal coach and a director of JPAC, which is the Performing Arts Training Center here in the Hudson Valley. I'm thrilled to offer these free webinars to help parents and students navigate the BFA audition process and to help you learn about the different programs out there. So we're going to get started by having each of our speakers today introduce themselves and tell us their name and their year and where they're from. So Haley, do you want to go first?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Haley Polidore. I'm from Wappingers Falls, New York, and I'm a Hartt MT 29.
Great. Nick?
Hello, everybody. I'm Nicholas Dona. I'm a senior musical theater major, and I'm from East Bridgewater, Massachusetts. But today I am coming to you from Chicago Unifieds. Just got done with the full day and onto the Zoom.
Excellent. Alexandra.
Hello, I am Alexandra Pavlidis. I am a third year in the acting training program. I'm originally from Boulder, Colorado, and I am coming to you right now from London, England, where the Hartt ATs actor trainings have their abroad program. So I've been here. I'm in my third week of 8 weeks, so I will come back in March. That's it.
Excellent. And Trinh.
Hi, everyone. I'm Trinh Ryann. I am a freshman musical theater major, and I am from Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Great. Well, I thought we would start with each of you just telling us briefly about your audition process and how it led you to choose the Hartt School. I guess I'm just going to go in this order that I've here. So I'll start with Haley.
I obviously sent in my pre-screen and I passed the pre-screen. And so I scheduled my audition for, I think it was March 2nd. Yeah. And I scheduled it on campus because I live about 2 hours from Hartt. So I was like, I'm going to go check it out on campus. And so, yeah, I went on campus and I actually was in the audition room the exact same day as Trinh. So we auditioned here together, which is really funny. And yeah, I went and I auditioned and um yeah, it was really great. We did our dance call first, and then right after that, I went straight to my do my monologue and my song for the faculty. And in that, we did a little sit down interview too. So I got asked some questions with the faculty, which is really, really great because out of honestly all the schools I applied to, Hartt was like the one school that really sat you down and talked to you in an interview, which really felt like they wanted to know who I was because a lot of schools they do ask you questions, but Hartt like sat you down and wanted to know who you were as a person, which was so different than I experienced, especially since this was my last audition. So I didn't experience that yet. And so it was nice to know that like they wanted to know who I was. Yeah. And then that was my last audition. And then I waited here and then I got accepted. And then something I very much recommend is going for a shadow day because that's exactly what I did. I went to Hartt and I set up a shadow day and Nick was actually my tour guide and and he gave me a great tour. Like it was so filled with so much information, like everything that I wanted to know he knew. It was so great. And I got to sit in on an acting class, tap 3, and then MTCL, which is like a class where that entire class sits down and you learn like ensemble songs is a group in like musical theater songs. And I was just so blown away. Like I was like, oh my God, this school, like the training is unbelievable. And so yeah, literally that I was driving home and I was like, this is a school. So the next day I called Kevin and I was like, oh, Kevin's our head. And I was like, I accept my offer. So yeah, that's a little story of how I got here.
And can I ask, I like to ask because everyone's going through this process now, like how many schools did you initially audition for? And did you do unifieds and summer programs? Was
Yeah.
that part of your process?
So I auditioned for 18 schools. I had a big variety of different programs and everything, and Joanne was my coach, so she helped me out with all of that. And yeah, and so the summer going into was it my no, it was my senior year.
Mhm.
It was my senior year. Yeah. I did a program called the Broadway Artist Intensive. And that was in Florida. And so I spent 3 weeks there. And it wasn't it wasn't meant for like a college program. Like a lot of schools do like Penn State does like the Penn State program or like UMich does the UMich program. It was more just so like a training 3 week intensive. But we actually did have the head and music head of Shenandoah there. So we did get to experience working with them. So I did that for 3 weeks, which was unbelievable. Highly recommend it. It was the best, one of the best weeks of my life. Like genuinely, I learned so much, and we worked with all these professionals and all that. And then a few weekends later, I went back to Florida, and they also do a college prep program. And so I went back up there, and we met with like I think it was 6 top programs. And yeah, so I got to do that too. So I did that, and then yeah, so then I applied to 18 schools, and I went to New York Unifieds because I live in New York, so it was easy. And yeah, I think I scheduled about 5 auditions there, but the rest I did on campus at all the schools because I wanted to experience what it was like. So I flew to some places that were far because I wanted to experience it. But yeah, so I definitely recommend doing a unified. I think it definitely helps. And I didn't do any walk-ins, but I definitely think walk-ins are extremely helpful. But yeah, I didn't do Chicago or anything, but I definitely would recommend doing a unified. It's just easy. I kind of think of it as like one-stop shopping instead of going everywhere that you'd have to go because sometimes it really is hard to spend money on traveling and all of that. So yeah, I definitely do recommend that. But yeah.
All right, great. Thank you. Nick, and you're a senior.
Yes, yeah. So my audition journey was 4 years ago, so it's been a while, but it's still is was a great experience. So I used MTCA, which is Music Theater College Auditions,
Hmm.
and I started with them March of my junior year, so about a year exactly before I actually committed to a school. So I used them throughout the end of my junior year and even through the college audition process as well. I used some of their coaches for dance, used some of them for acting and singing. So, great resource. And I auditioned for 23 schools. And yeah, so I submitted all my pre screens and I auditioned for Hartt at New York Unifieds. And similarly to this year, it snowed also a foot of snow on the Sunday of my New York Unifieds as well, but they still kept going. And yeah, I auditioned for Hartt. It was actually the only because some schools actually switched to virtual that day. So Hartt was my first audition of the day on on the Sunday of the snow. And I vividly remember just like walking into the room and just, it was a vibe unlike any other room I've walked into. All the teachers just felt so personable and so down to earth and so just like I could have a conversation with them. Like my sense of humor, we immediately hit it off. It was a great experience. And um going into it, Hart was never it was on my radar, but it was never one of the schools that I was like, oh, I could see myself going there. It was always just like in the mix. But leaving Unifieds, it was number one, clear cut, simply because of the way the faculty treated me inside the room. And I mean, that still goes today. The way the faculty treat the students is just amazing. And just the way they push you and strive to, get you to be, excellent. But at the same time, they're never, you know, creating an environment that's toxic or cutthroat. They're always pushing you to be the best version of yourself in a way that I feel like a lot of schools, or just this school especially, was just so special in a way that they're going to keep you as the artist that you are on the inside of when you walk through the doors, but they're just going to push you and keep making you grow to be the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. But anyways, then I only did New York Unifieds. And I went to, I think I did, same as Haley, like 5 or 6 schools during Unifieds. And then I did on-campus stuff, and the first acceptance that I heard back from was Hartt as well. So it was like I had an amazing experience in the room, and it was my first acceptance too. So I was like, oh boy, this is going to be hard to, to top because it was just a great experience. So as, the process went on, it just, every school that I heard back from, I was just like, yeah, but did I have the same experience with them that I did with Hartt? Like it was just like a special place in my heart. And then a special place in my heart. Anyways, so I so I went to tour campus. I was pretty set. I was like, I think it's the place to go, but I would recommend this to any students too that are, deciding between schools. Definitely, if you can, come and visit. Like Haley said, we offer tours to any prospective student. We offer shadow days only to accepted students. So if you get accepted, you can come do a full shadow day like Haley did. I gave her a tour. You can follow some students around, sit in on classes, all that stuff. And another difference for Hartt as well is the Performing Arts building is located off campus. So here is a cautionary tale. If you go through the university website and you schedule an audition, it will only schedule you for a general campus audition, not a performing arts audition. So, can I put something in the chat? Okay. I'm going to put the Hartt
Yes.
admissions email in the chat, and this is what you email if you want to schedule a tour.
Oh,
So,
great.
yes, a little quick plug. It's harttadm@hartford.edu, and you're going to use that email to schedule a performing arts specific tour. So, anyways, I did my tour. I did a performing arts building tour, and at this point, it was 2022, so like there was still masks and everything, and like people like in master classes wearing like those like clear masks that they would sing with. So it was it was a little different than if you were to do a shadow day now, but still I still got the vibe of the students and the faculty. And well, actually, fun fact, Kevin Ramsey, who is the head of our theater division, actually wasn't the head of when I was a senior in high school. He came in my freshman year, so we kind of have been we've been growing in the program together. This is his 4th year. But anyway, so yes, I left the school, and just that feeling that I just didn't get at any other school, I was just like, I think that this is the place for me. So I committed. I think it was like end of March. I didn't even wait for the decision date. I was like, this is the place for me. I'm doing it now, and it definitely it still to this day is just definitely the best decision I could have made for not just my artistry, but just as a person. And I think, more questions, we can get into that as well. But in terms of my audition process, there it is.
Yes, thank you. Alexandra.
All right, guys, I want to try to go because obviously I feel like a lot of us and anyone going through this could talk about this for maybe hours. But I am also something different about me. I don't know how many of you are going actor training or musical theater. I knew I was actor training for a very long time, but I grew up very like musical theater. I love musical theater, a lot of respect for like the MT majors, but I always knew that the acting ones were what I wanted to do. And I did a summer program, and it was my first like real thing. And that's when I was like, I could like do a BFA program. I never realized I could like be an actor, you know? And so I worked with a college coach, and I applied to about 18 schools, and I was like, wow, I'm gonna be so awesome. And then I got many a rejection and maybe got 3 callbacks. Which is very different than a lot of people I actually know who went to Hartt who were like, yeah, I got like 16. I got 3 callbacks, and it was really, really, really hard for me because it just sucks. Rejection sucks. It's part of the industry, and everyone will tell you that, but it doesn't make it suck any less. So with my 3 things, I went to LA because I'm in Colorado, so that was the closest one to me. And so I did my 3 callbacks, and then I did every walk-in I could. Literally every single one I did, just for like the fun of it, just to get to know people, just to practice auditioning, just to literally be in the room. I would like did every single walk-in I could sign up for, I did. And I don't know that I ever ended up like applying to any of those schools, but it was just like a really good experience. Just like keep doing the work, keep doing your songs, you know. I had a lot of fun with it. So then I got into 2 schools, which, hey, 2 options is still 2 options. Super huge for me.
Absolutely.
So I went to Hartt, and I was having a good time, but I was just pretty tired that weekend. I feel like everyone was like, "Oh my God, I knew it was Hartt." I had a great experience at Hartt, and they had me sing in my audition, which like I've been singing my whole life, and I sung 3 hours every day in high school, so I felt very like represented, that they like saw on my resume that I went to all state choir, and they like had me sing, and they were very, very kind to me in the audition room. And I had a good feeling, but I was like, I was very uncertain, and so I toured Hart, and I really liked it, but I didn't know until I toured another school, and I realized how much I disliked the vibe at their campus, that I realized how much I liked Hart's vibe. It wasn't until like I was able to compare and contrast the two schools I got into, to like really figure that out. So that's my story. But also, I just want to say, if any of you are thinking musical theater but have been often, I don't know if any of you got deferred to actor training, or maybe you can get deferred to an acceptance for actor training. I'm happy to talk about that. Our program's awesome. It's literally 12:40 a.m. in London right now. I had 7 hours worth of classes, and I just saw a show at the National Theater. And I love our acting program and our musical theater program. They're a little bit different. They're pretty similar, but they are different. But if you have any questions about that, please let me know. That's it.
Great. And Trent.
All right. So I feel like my heart audition story is like all of the stars just like perfectly aligned in like a crazy strange way, because initially, because Heart sends out their like callbacks at like the same time, and like you have to sign up for a slot, and I didn't get a slot, and I had been checking, and like randomly I was in environmental science class like in high school not doing my homework, and I was like saw one slot left on like February 16th, and I immediately signed it up, not even telling my dad yet. I was like, we have to go to Connecticut. Like, I have to go audition. Like, because I was just like kind of sitting around. I was like, oh, maybe I won't audition, whatever. But I was like, no, I just have to. And I then that audition got snowed out. So I couldn't go. It like got canceled the morning of. We were literally
Hmm.
about to like, I just woke up. And so they were like, okay, you can audition online today, or you can audition next week in person. And again, having no way of getting there, I was like, yes, I'll audition in person next week, which happened to be my 18th birthday. So the following week, I was in, I'd done my PACE audition the day before. So I was coming from New York, and then my family like drove up together, and we stayed in a hotel, and I auditioned on campus. And I like, because of my schedule was like, normally you do like your dance call, and like then everything else is kind of back to back, but like because they were trying to just fit me in, it was kind of really spaced out. So I did my dance call first, and then I had my info session a couple hours later. And I remember walking in and just like listening to Kevin and Ralph and Janelle and John Pike and a bunch of the other current or students. And I was just like, at this was my very last audition. Like, I could just sense that the vibe exactly, like there's a vibe that you describe, and people kept telling me like, you're gonna get to your school and you're gonna know. And at this point, this was like my 13th audition, and I was like, hadn't felt that, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this feels tumultuous. I was just like, this is crazy. I don't know where I'm gonna go. And because it was in March, like I was getting rejections and wait lists at this point. Not, I think I'd maybe gotten like two acceptances for like schools that I didn't really want to go to after my audition. So I was just like, wow, like I really hope this is the one. And it was, because I remember Kevin saying, he was like, we know that everyone in this room is really talented. Like otherwise you wouldn't be in the room and pursuing this, but that we want to know who you are as people and get to know you, and like how you're going to fit into our program. And that like really stuck out to me. And just like hearing from the students that day, like just really, I was just like, wow, these people seem really cool and really awesome. And then I went to did my song and monologue, which were great. And I sat down with Kevin and just got to talk to him more. And I was like, wow, like again, he like really cares about what I have to say. And like, I feel like a lot of the other interviews I did with other schools, it was like really rushed, or they just were like, okay, bye. But like, they actually really took the time to get to know me. And then I spent the next 2 hours on a tour with Alexandra and my entire family around HVAC. And just like they asked, or Alexandra was able to help us with like, my parents had so many questions about, because I think it was they had never really asked anything on like other tours that we'd gone to, but for some reason they were just like, I think getting it all out, maybe it was the last audition or something, or just felt really welcome to. But they were asking everything, and like just took the time to go through everything. And I was just like, wow, like something in my heart was like, okay, I have to go here. Like I was just like, oh my gosh, I like whatever. And then another reason that I was just like, wow, this really is the school for me is that I found out I got into Hart because I was leaving all state auditions or all state choir for in Massachusetts, and there was a Hart admissions table. And I went over and talked to the former head of admissions, and she was like, "Oh, I'm sending out the acceptances to musical theater right now." And I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I literally like my friend's like, "Okay, Trin, let's go." And then she was like, "Oh, Trinh Doherty?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "Can you check your email?" And I that's how I found out right there. So it was just
No.
like a magical experience. And then I came back during Accepted Students Day in April and like signed the papers. Right. I had known the whole time. I was like, I'm going here, I'm going here. My parents were like, well, just wait, like, and hear back. But I knew in my heart that this is where I wanted to be, especially after meeting and talking to a lot of the current students who are now like my friends. Like I remember like seeing them at the table and being like, oh my gosh, they're so cool. And now I'm like, I see them every day and they're my peers. So yeah.
That's great. Um, okay, so I was going to ask, and again, the chat is open. So if any of you guys have questions, I know some of you are at Chicago right now. Some of you might have a hard audition coming up, or some of you, I believe, have gotten offers, have been accepted, and are here to check it out. So by all means, throw something in the chat, and we'll answer those questions. I was curious about a typical a typical day there, a week there. How is that broken up with classes, and how does that change as so for example, Haley and Trin, you are freshmen. What's your workload like in comparison as you're moving up to the senior? Who wants to go first? Haley?
Sure, I can go. Um, so I don't really like 100% know, like obviously what the juniors, like even sophomore year, like junior, senior, what their workload is like. But I know that we do have a pretty decent workload right now. I mean, especially like for me, like on Mondays and Wednesdays, like right now I'm at HPAC, which HPAC is the building where all of our classes are off campus. We call it HPAC. HPAC, I'm there from like 10 a.m. to either 5 or 7 depending on the day. But yeah, I mean, we I don't even know how many classes we actually take right now, but um
How many dance classes do freshmen take between first semester and then the second semester?
so we take 2 classes for both semesters first year. We take ballet and jazz, and then next year's when we start taking tap. Um,
Mhm.
but so yeah, it depending on how your schedule is made, you can be dancing every day or only twice a week. Like last semester, I was dancing every day because my dance classes were split up. And then this semester, my ballet and jazz are actually in the same day. But on the days I have off, like I will go book space at the studio and I'll go dance or do whatever I need to do to make up like that dance time. Um, but yeah, I have 2 of my dance classes. I have my master class. So master class is you have your voice lesson, and then all of those students of that voice teacher you have, you're all in one class together, and that's like once a week. And you just sing your songs. You sing a song that week and you get feedback on it from your vocal coach. But I have that. We have MTCL, which is our chorus class. We have theory. We first semester we had the seminar class. Depending on where you're at for academics, you have 1 or 2 academic classes. Because I have 1 academic class for these 2 semesters. I'm really trying to think, but
Yeah, that
I
sounds like
can't
you.
remember. But we do have a pretty decent workload, but we do also have decent breaks. Like I know that right now my Thursdays I only do have 2 classes. But like my Mondays I have 5 classes. So it depends on how your schedule is made, but I am pretty booked, but also like I have enough breaks where I'm okay. And we have this cafe at HPAC. So like the hour break you do have, you don't have to go rush back to campus to get food. You can be there and still fuel up. If you need food or if you need something, there's a cafe right there. So you don't have to rush back to campus back and forth to get the food you need to get. Because like on Mondays, since I do have 5 classes, I only have like 1 hour and a half break, and that's like when I get my food. So yeah, we are pretty busy, but I mean, it's great. The training is amazing, so it's very much worth it. So,
Okay, great. Um, let's see. I do have some questions in this chat, so I like to. So let's hear for the upperclassmen. Um, sorry. What are the plans after graduation? Does school prepare and connect with professional opportunities?
All right, I can talk
Big
about
one.
that.
What are
Yes.
our plans, Nick?
Big
Nick,
one.
what are we doing?
Well, let's not worry about plans right now. Let's talk about how they prepare us for graduation. So, yes, I would say that now being a senior, one of the biggest just things that I feel like this program does so well is prepare you for the professional world. And that being senior year, they are or there are a lot of professional engagements that the seniors are involved with. For musical theater majors, the biggest one being the Goodspeed Festival of New Works. So the Goodspeed Opera House is located in East Haddam, which is like 30 minutes south near Mystic, Connecticut, and they do an annual festival of new works where aspiring writers or established writers who have written new musicals submit their work to the festival, and they choose three new musicals each year, and the Hartt seniors and the Western Connecticut State seniors go down to the Goodspeed Festival of New Works. Usually, I actually just came back. It's over winter break. It's 2 weeks over winter break, but it's about like 40 of us, and we all get cast in one of three musicals. I was in Miss Hysteria. It was about a French insane asylum in the 1880s, and it follows Louise Glaze, who gets committed for being hysterical. And yeah, it was a great experience. And the thing is, every Hartt musical theater major is guaranteed to be cast in the Goodspeed Festival of New Works. So that is a regional credit guaranteed to be on your resume by the time you graduate. Then in downtown Hartford, there is the Hartford Stage Company, TheaterWorks, Playhouse on Park, and the Bushnell. And Hartford Stage is a big regional theater. They do a production of A Christmas Carol every year. It's a big equity production, but they have non-equity contracts for Hartt seniors to be in the ensemble of A Christmas Carol. All Hartt actor training major seniors are either in that or they're in the TheaterWorks' TYA touring children's productions as well. So there is also a regional credit guaranteed to be on the actor training resume as well. But musical theater majors are also able to audition for A Christmas Carol. This year, two of my roommates actually were in that as well. And then also throughout the year, usually in the spring semester in like February or March, there are summer stock companies that come to the campus to audition us in person. Usually there's somewhere between like 5 to 10 companies that come every year. And we all audition in person. There's dance calls, like the whole thing. And some people book contracts in the room. Most people get callbacks in the city. And also because of obviously our vicinity to Boston and New York, we are close to both obviously very affluent arts communities, and Hartford itself is a very great arts community as well.
Mhm.
The Bushnell, which is in downtown Hartford, is like the big touring theater as well. Every semester, a bunch of touring shows come through. I saw Wicked there. I saw MJ there, and yeah, it's a great way to see a bunch of those big like companies that come through right in downtown Hartford. And the last thing I'll say about graduation and getting us connected and ready, the alumni network at Hartford is very good. It's very strong and it's very extensive. We have Hartt all over the world. Right now, just to name a few, the MJ, his name is Jamal Fields Green in the West End. He's playing MJ right now. Emma Flynn is going in as Glinda on Broadway right now. She starts March 3rd. Our recent fellow graduate, Sid Quilden, I actually just saw her last week. She is Nabelungi in the Book of Mormon right now on Broadway. So, and then that just is New York and West End. We have people in touring, international tours. We have people in LA doing film and TV. We have people on cruise ships. My roommate, actually, as sad as it is, he left a semester early. He is now on Disney Cruise Lines. He's doing Moana and he's doing Beauty and the Beast there. So he's having a great time there. It's sad to see him go. But yes, he is. And so that is another reason how Hartt, especially senior year, gets you that foot in the door so that when you graduate, you already have some credits under your belt. You have a step up maybe from other competition because you have those experiences and those the training to really help you stand out. But yes.
Yeah, excellent. Can I ask a
I'm
question? Oh, Or
Oh, I
and
was
look
also
at you.
just gonna I was also just gonna say, like, not only performing, I think Hart also does a really good job for me of opening this idea that like this industry, it being just a performer is starting to be like less of a rare thing. You have to start being a very multifaceted artist, you know? Like I work in admissions, I do tours, I answer emails, you know, but it's also like I've interested in being a director, I've interested in being a playwright. And this like school is kind of like I've taken playwriting workshops. I'm now like helping to produce a playwriting festival at our school, like showing the fact that like it's not just performing, it's not just being an actor, right? Even though like duh, all of us probably love being on stage. It's great, but also like there's so many different aspects to what makes a theater run and what makes this industry beautiful, and that like and there's money in that, which is great. I was also, can I answer some of the questions in the chat? Is it okay?
Yeah, I was going to get to him, but is there? There's.
Um, I was so the commute between HPAC and main campus, it's about a 5 minute shuttle. So there's a shuttle that runs back and forth. I didn't bring my car until junior year, so freshman and sophomore year, I used the shuttle to get from main campus to HPAC. It's really not that bad. It's about from like the dorms to like the actual classes on campus, it's about a like 15 to 20-minute walk just to like go from like the residential side to the intellectual side of campus. And the shuttle to HVAC takes like right around the same amount of time. So like again, not having a car for 2 years. And it was honestly great to have a space that I was like, this is my performing space. Like I could walk around barefoot in HVAC all the time. I walk around barefoot in the bathrooms all the time, like just because like it's our space, you know, there's not like a biology major who's coming into like our space, you know, it's just like very much
I
for
don't
the
do
performing
that,
majors.
but
I'm also
I'm
weird.
just gonna
Sorry,
say.
guys. I'm weird, and also actor training majors. We have a lot of barefoot only movement classes, and I get lazy and I don't want to put my shoes on.
Can I
So
add something
that's
to the shuttle, Alexandra?
yes, yes.
So,
Go for it.
when I was interested in Hart, I think like one thing that I was like, I don't know about was the building off campus. I was like, my number one question to a bunch of the students was, do I feel very disconnected from the campus life being in a different building all day at HPAC? And I will say, all the students told me no, but being here, definitely not. Like, I have multiple friends that are not theater people. And you honestly feel just as much like in the campus life as you are HPAC because you do go back. Like it doesn't feel like a separation at all. So a lot of people do question like how it is being off campus. But honestly, like my walk from my dorm to where the shuttle stop is about literally 7 minutes. And then it's like a 7 minute ride over. It honestly doesn't feel, it feels like a big deal, but it really doesn't separate you at all.
And to add to that, like it's a nice break. Just like if the weather's not great, that's another problem. But if it's just like we have really good sunsets here. So like that walk to the shuttle on the way to nighttime rehearsal, is just like so beautiful. And like the campus is really nice and just taking in, especially with the snow recently, it's been just like so like picturesque and it's just like a nice breather. It's like of being inside all day and just like doing all this work and just like taking a moment like outside and just yes.
Also connecting with something that Haley said, like, yes, we are like, I'm very much my closest friends are the people in the performing major. Like, I will say that, but also like connecting with people outside of campus, as someone had a question about this, is totally kind of like up to the person who attends the university. So because I know people who really don't talk to other people, and I know people who are in the major who like really prefer people outside of the musical theater actor training major and spend a lot of times. We have sororities on campus, we have a lot of clubs. I joined club rugby for a semester until I learned that I suck at rugby and it's not my sport, but I tried it. And that's what's fun and cool about college is that you can try that. So we have a lot of clubs. There's like a Taylor Swift club. There's like all sorts. We have a record label on campus that at least 4 people total from our program have like produced music with them and are like starting to like have released singles with our record label on campus. Someone asked an AT question because it is starting to get late for me, so I'm gonna pop off
Yeah.
quite soon. But someone asked how I balance classical and contemporary text. So for our first 2 years, so actually the musical theater and actor training majors are all mixed together in acting classes until junior year. So until first semester junior year, the Hartt mentality isn't that like, oh, musical theater, oh, actor training. Is that we are all storytellers and acting is the fundamental one of the fundamental parts of that. So we're all mixed in classes together, which is really fun, honestly. Um, And like you can also do like we have something called sophomore projects, which are like smaller shows. And so you do those with musical theater students and actor training students. Your first semester, everyone does plays. But anywho, so it kind of for your first 2 years, you'll be doing a lot of contemporary text. So you will be focusing, and that's how you incorporate your Meisner works, a little bit of Stanislavski, Uta Hagen, Chekhov, Laban, like all of your skills are done on a lot of contemporary text. And then I started doing some classical in my voice classes starting my sophomore year. But the whole point of going to London is that I have 2 classes, 3 hours a day, total of 6 hours of theater every day here for 8 weeks. So this study abroad that I'm doing right now is a Shakespeare intensive. Um, so we kind of like, and then as soon as I'm done with this 8 week Shakespeare intensive, we come back and we do the Scottish play, which I'm not in a theater. We're doing Macbeth. I don't know why I said it. But we're doing Macbeth when we come back, and I get to be one of the witches. So we kind of like the program eases you in with a lot of contemporary work. You're welcome to like study, but you then get introduced to classical work. And then last semester in my voice class, I did ancient Greek, Shaw, and uh, Moliere, and now I'm doing a lot of Shakespeare. And then senior year is very much focused on like, okay, let's get you out into the industry with like career prep and things like that. Um, there was someone
Someone
saying,
asked about if you don't get into the musical theater program, do you automatically move into acting BFA or do you have to
no.
reapply?
So the acting BFA is a separate thing. I kind of forgot where we are on the timeline. So if you submitted, you might have already been redirected to the acting BFA for a callback that happened to a bunch of my friends. Like at least a third of my current class started like auditioning as musical theater majors and just got they either got a callback as an AT or they got like accepted as an AT. But if you don't get into the musical theater program, you do not automatically get into the acting program. We are a separate. We're like we're also in it. It's not like a so you can yeah. So it'll be something that is like offered, and it'll be like there was yeah, it's something that's offered as another thing. But
A
if
possibility of a
yeah,
redirect.
but yeah. And if you didn't get into musical theater, then you're welcome to re-audition for musical theater or actor training. And I will say 2 things. One, Hartt I love Hartt and it's like my home, but it's also like not going to be everyone's home. And I had a friend who was here and got in and ended up going to school at DePaul, and she loves it there more than anything. And like I literally knew that she got into Hartt and she accepted. And I was like, I don't know that Hart's the place for you. Like it's the place for me. And my mom kept saying this throughout the process, and it drove me bonkers, but she was right. Listen to your moms, everyone. And my mom kept saying, it all works out in the end. And if it doesn't work out, it's not the end. Technically, Winston Churchill coined it. I think my mom did. But anywho, it was like she was right in that when I was in the process and really in the thick of it, I was like, Mom, I'm not going to get into anywhere. Everywhere hates me. Like, I'm not going to be an actor. I'm just going to go into like accounting. But like, she was right. It did all work out in the end. And I found the place that like I love. I have a job. I'm in London studying. Like, it's literally magical. And like I like sometimes I'm like when I get really stressed and really overwhelmed because we are super busy, I'm like, wow, I'm like living a dream of like the 16-year-old me. And it's like it will all work out in the end. And if it doesn't work out, it's not the end. There's so like a girl in my year auditioned and did this auditioning process 4 times. It's like before she found this school, you know? And so like you all will find your place. And if it is Heart, then I'm so overjoyed for all of you and I'm so happy to meet you. And if it's not Heart, then I hope you have the best of luck wherever you go and I hope we connect later, you know? And that's just like the greatest thing about the theater is that it's so small and tight knit and awesome. So that's my little spiel in case yeah, because I'm probably going to head out. But you guys are welcome to email Heart Admissions if you have any more questions.
Of that.
And yes,
Um, I-
to add on quickly to what Alexandra said, I think just the biggest piece of advice, like, is it's like around this time now, like I'm getting all the flashbacks of like my camera and everything of like how surely I was convinced as those rejections and waitlists and deferrals were all coming in that it was not going to work out. Like I genuinely, especially going back to winter break and or going home for winter break and talking to everyone at home and like everyone asking me how it is, and I'm like just spilling my heart, and I'm just like, I literally could not imagine myself anywhere else, and it's so perfect for me. Like, and it just like it did work out. And it feels in the moment that it's not going to, but it will. And it might not look what you thought it was going to. Like did not think that Hart was going to be the place for me like back in September of my senior year. Like I was just like, it was on my list, but it didn't really like stick out. But then the second I got here, I was like, wow, this really is for me. And I think the biggest piece, not a good piece of advice that I got from Kennedy, who graduated last year, at my audition, she told me to get a sweet treat during every single decision, whether it's good or bad or in the middle. Treat yourself. Go get that ice cream, go get that milkshake, whatever may please you. Get that so that no matter what news you get, it's you have something to celebrate. And I took that and I was like, absolutely yes. And then I remember the day after my Hartt audition, I got rejected from what I thought was like the school for me. Went out and got my favorite Starbucks drink, which is literally like $10. And I was like, this is how you cope. So yes.
That's great. There is one question about, and this is interesting. I hear this a lot. Do acting majors take voice lessons? Is that part of it? Is that an add-on?
So you can take voice lessons. So like uh so musical theater majors, you have a voice teacher who you get your freshman year. You will take one 50-minute voice lesson once a week for like your entire 4 years with the same person. Actor training majors, you and then you will also get a coaching starting your sophomore year, which will be more for like cuts, things like that. So musical theater majors get a lot of that vocal training. Actor training majors, we have like voice classes you'll see in our curriculum, but that's a lot of like link later, like figuring out like your voice, how it lies, how to free it, things of that nature. Singing wise, it's something you kind of have to seek out. I was able to join a master class, which was super awesome for me. I did that my freshman and sophomore year. It started becoming less doable my junior year because we're just like getting really busy. Wait, the food. I really like the food. The food's super delicious. Sorry, just saw that one. I think it's delicious. Anywho, but so I sought out voice lessons because I've been singing for a really long time. But we have the Hartt Community Division is like they have private voice teachers that you can get it through there. I paid for private voice lessons. Their private voice lessons, it was like I worked with someone who my voice teacher was on Broadway and she's very talented and it was like just as much as my voice teacher's at home. So that was a pretty good deal for me. But in London, we actually just all sung Shakespeare songs. So you can sing as much as you want. I sing a lot with my friends in my free time. So music and still incorporating music is a part of it, but we don't get any specific. We get one semester of it at the beginning of it, and then you can take a class called Acting Through Song as an elective your sophomore or your senior year, because junior year I'm in London right now and the class is happening. So you can take that as an elective. So there's a lot of opportunities to sing. Actor training students can be in the musicals. I just assistant directed the musical that Nick was in. So you can, if you're worried, if you're like, oh my gosh, if I'm gonna be an actor training major, I'm never gonna sing again. That is not the case. We sing all the time. Um, and the London trip is just for the actor training majors. So,
Okay.
and then with that, so much love. It is 1:15 in the morning and I have class tomorrow. So lovely to meet you all. Please email
Thank
or find
you.
me on social media if you have any more questions. Bye-bye.
Bye. uh, dorm life, food. That was a question. Alexandra said food was good. How do we feel about food options?
I think the food is honestly really good. I know so many people from different schools who say their dining halls are bad. I mean, our food's not like gourmet, but like I think our food is definitely very eatable. Like I really do enjoy our dining hall. Like we love it. We call it Commons. We love going to Commons. There's not just Commons, though. There's something called Hawk's Nest, which is I don't know when it's like dinner time to like 1 a.m.
till 1 a.m.
Yeah, yeah. So that's also an option, which is dining dollars. We have a Starbucks on campus. What else we have?
PSU.
TSU.
GSU
Has
has like
rotating
acai bowls,
Moe's.
Moe's,
Dough City
actually
Pizza.
Dough City Pizza.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think the food's really good. But
I can also talk a little about dorm life too, because it's a little unique, I think, in the way that it works here at Hartt. So housing is guaranteed all 4 years. However, a lot of musical theater majors, well, you're actually also only required to live on campus your first 2 years. So because of that, a lot of musical theater majors and actor training majors end up moving off campus to off campus housing junior and senior year. I live off campus with 5 other musical theater majors in a house, and there's houses that get passed down and all that kind of stuff as well.
Mhm.
Freshman year is just your regular dorm life. You have your roommate. Hawk Hall is a little different than the other dorms called the quads. Not the quads. What are they called? Someone help me.
Comps.
Comps. But Hawk Hall is RLCs, which I think Trin is actually, or are you both in Hawk Hall right now?
No,
Or just
Haley.
Trin?
No.
Okay. Just
No.
Trin. But Trin can talk about Hawk Hall since she's there.
So yes, Hawk Hall is where I live, and has RLCs, which are residential learning communities. So there are 4 residential floors. It's co-ed, and it is. I'm on the honors floor, the top floor, and then there's STEM, cultural connections, and wellness. And I believe there are actually musical theater majors on all of the floors here this year. We have 5 of us on the honors floor. So there's a lot of singing that happens on our floor. But so if you're in Hawk Hall and you're in an RLC, it means you have to take a class connected to that your floor. So my honors class was an honors contemporary American history like studies class for fall semester, and then in the spring semester you have to take an honors seminar, which is just once weekly. But it was really nice to have like just that one academic class. It also counted as a UIS, which is the University Interdisciplinary Studies classes, which you have to take 4 of them throughout your all 4 years. So it was nice to just get one out of the way in my first semester. But it was really fun because it was, yes, it was at 8:30 in the morning, but it was with our whole floor. And so it's like the people you see and you're friends with and like everything. So it was cool to have like a class with everyone there. Another thing to point out, I think specifically about our class too, is that my Haley and I's class, none of the musical theater majors really live together, which is I know at some schools, all the musical theater majors live together, and things like that. But it's been really nice for me to have a non-musical theater major too, who's sitting right across me, listening to me talk to her. But just to come home and like she used to do theater but she's nursing major, so like having her understand like what I'm talking about, but like not just coming home and like having a different connection to like being on campus and just hearing about like what her day was like and things like that, which has been really, really nice. And then yeah. And next year we're still living together, and Haley's living with us too. So yay!
Yeah, I'll also add sophomores too. So after you do like the generic dorm living, sophomores there are on-campus apartments that you live in. So they come in groups of 4 or 6, and there are like 3 different areas you can live in on campus: the Quads, Park River, and Regents. And so you enter like a lottery at the end of your freshman year, and like in like your housing assignments, and they pick through the lottery, and then you get to pick where you live. And then after that, you can still obviously continue to live on campus junior and senior year. As a senior, I think probably like 75% of my class probably lives off campus, and then like 25% lives on. And it like most of the people that live on campus are ones that maybe don't have a car or just would prefer living on campus. Some of them also live with juniors as well, so it's a little more like cross-class living. But yes, that is the housing sitch as well.
All right. We have a question. How does casting for main stage productions work? This is different at your school, so this is good to hear. Is it possible for students to go through the whole 4 years and not perform or perform very minimally? Good question.
Okay. Yes, I can talk about that. So, main stage, we do 4 main stage productions a semester, 2 plays, 2 musicals, so that's 8 main stage productions a year. Main stage production auditions are only open to juniors and seniors. Sophomores will assistant direct, assistant choreograph, some may understudy, and then freshmen work crew and tech on those, and stage manage also those main stage productions. Then I'm gonna backtrack. Sophomores do their own sophomore projects, which are like right dead in the middle of a class and like a big main stage performance. There's limited sets, limited props. It's about the process, more about the performance, and those sophomore projects are in the studios, and they're only open to faculty and students. And they are only sophomores that are cast in them. The first semester, the musical theater and acting majors are all combined in like smaller casts of like 10 to 12, and they do plays. And then in the second semester, the acting training majors keep doing a play, and then the musical theater majors split off and they do musicals. For example, this semester, the musicals are Blood Brothers, Little Women, and Assassins. Um, so that happens in the sophomore year. And then along with that, the sophomore projects and the main stage productions, there are honors projects that seniors put on. I think the best way to describe them are like senior capstone projects. So when you go into Hartt and you can get accepted in the honors program, or if you don't get accepted when you first come in, you can reapply for the honors program at the end of your freshman year. You go through taking honors classes throughout your 4 years, and by your senior year, you get to put on an honors capstone project. And the seniors can cast second semester freshmen all the way through seniors in those projects. And Kevin, the biggest thing that he is pushing for is new work. His biggest thing is intellectual property. He's so big on new original work. So a lot of those senior capstone projects are original work as well. And finally, there's cabarets as well. So each class does a cabaret at in some point during the year. And the freshman cabaret is probably coming along sometime in the spring semester. And to answer more of the question, no. Well, they say so. What they say is casting is not guaranteed. However, in my 4 years, there has never been a person that has not been cast in a show. So, yes, in the handbook, it says that casting is not guaranteed. However, that is usually used for maybe someone who is falling academically behind, or someone who maybe is not, finishing their classes in the correct manner. So they hold the right to obviously take away castings for a main stage show. But through my 4 years, if you are doing the classes right and you are a student in, you're doing just fine as a student, you're going to be cast in the show. So I would not say that it's something they need to worry about. And perform very minimally, no, you are performing all the time. You can get cast, musical theater majors and actor training majors, once you get up to the main stage productions, you can audition for anything. Musical theater majors can audition for plays, actor training majors can audition for musicals, and very often there are many people in all different sorts of productions. You mainly are cast in one main stage production a year, but this particular semester there are a few people who are cast in both our main stage musicals, which are Urinetown and Kiss Me Kate. So to answer your question, no, there is never a time when you are not busy and you are not in a show. Rehearsals run 7:20 to 10:30 at night, Monday through Friday, and then 11 to 4 on Saturdays, and the rehearsal period is usually about 6 to 8 weeks. So that is definitely a rundown on that.
Somebody, not sure who it is. Someone's not muted. I'm trying to find that person, but okay. I wanted to add to that because I know when Haley was my student. So when we were weighing down all the options of the schools and making that decision, one of the things that she had said is, well, I can't audition for the main stage probably until like my junior year. Realistically, I don't know. And I remember having this conversation with her and saying, yeah, but there's so much in the process. And I think that personally, that kids get so caught up with being in show after show after show that they're losing the actual training. And I kind of like the idea that you're going through the process and you are performing in that, but it might not just be a main stage with an audience, but you're performing with your peers and your teachers and working these things and getting to that point where, okay, now I'm here my junior year. I've got this amazing skill set. Put me in the main stage,
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I would say like being in my second semester, like of course I would love to perform, but I will say being training every single day, honestly, like I don't feel like it's like I feel like I'm getting that every day from just training. I like and we're going to do my freshman cap at the end of the year and I'm already going to get to perform next year. So it really doesn't feel like anything crazy. Like I am still training every day and um yeah, like I'm still getting like I'm training. So it's like it's so important that you're just focusing on that, especially for the first year, because I will say the first semester, it's so crazy. I couldn't imagine putting in a show in that first semester for the first time being there because we all the freshmen we do our crew assignments and I'm there all like there's weeks that I'm there for tech, and then next semester I'm assistant stage managing. So I couldn't imagine like jumping right into rehearsals as soon as I get there. It's so nice to just be able to train and focus on my craft more so instead of being in a show on top of that right coming into school.
And to add on to that, just oh, lost my train of thought. But if the first semester of college is the first semester of college, it's a big, big, big transition. Like I'm not like you need to take the time to like learn how to take care of yourself, learn how to like, find the right times to like feed yourself and just like hanging out with people and making friends, like accommodating to life without your parents, which as independent as I thought I was in high school, it's still a really big transition. And that's I think really, really important. And people kept telling me that, but I didn't realize like how much is like, okay, I needed the time to just like learn how to be myself now in this new scenario. And again, additionally, like with the crew assignments and stuff, I was a stage manager last semester for Bright Star with Nick, and Alexandra was our AD. But I think a really great part about being in the rehearsal room while you're sitting there for, I think it was our production was like 8 weeks long. You're learning the process and just sitting there and absorbing it and watching it from an outside perspective. And I think like we had a really great director, and I like loved watching her direct and like thinking about what she was asking, and like to prepare our show and get it up on its feet. And just like that's something I had done before, of just like watching the rehearsal process of a show. And it taught me more about like as an actor of like, okay, like next time I'm in a show, these are things I'll think about. And additionally, I feel like a really great thing about Hartt is that the grades are all friends with each other and things like that, being in Bright Star or being on that crew brought me really close to a bunch of the upperclassmen, and it was just like, and now I have like, I'm really close to my class, but also like have all these other friends, and who are a bunch of the juniors and seniors as well. So that was really awesome.
Yeah, and
Great.
something else I want to add really quickly is that another thing that is really helpful to the freshmen is that the Hartt does something that's really special, which I think some other programs do too, but we do a big and little. Um, we just do bigs and littles. So each the freshmen are paired up with a senior, and basically like they just help us out, and it's honestly the best thing ever. They answer questions we need. Like it's just so helpful to know that we have an upperclassman that is there to help us at all times. Like I talk to my big all the time. Like we went out to dinner, we did all this stuff, and like it's just so nice that we know that we have these seniors who are so helpful to us, especially since like they're upperclassmen. And it's like something so great about Hartt is that everyone is just so amazing, and so like when I went and toured, like it was just everyone was there with open arms and was so like it was just so amazing how much of a community they are. Like you would think you'd walk in the hallways and you'd be like afraid of the seniors, but like in reality, like everyone is just so nice to each other, and you see all classes talking to each other. Like especially in dance, like we're all mixed in there together, so it's like just so nice that everyone is so nice to you, and you're like everyone's just so friendly. Because coming in freshman year, like you're a little intimidated, but it's so nice that you have the seniors to help you out, and even like the juniors and sophomores, like everyone is just so amazing, and it's just such a great community to have at Hartt.
And everyone is so excited to meet you once you get there. Like they've stalked your headshots and they know your names and everything. And it's really overwhelming at first, but like the community seriously is so great. And like being and having a big and like is super great in that transition again. And like we have like our little family and stuff. Like Nick is in my family too. So like we've had like dinners together and things like that, which has just been really great to just get to know everyone and again help with that transition.
That's great. I'm going to grab a couple more of these questions here. We have, can you tell us about West Hartford and the area around campus and HPAC? What's that like?
I certainly can. I live there. I live in West Hartford. So HPAC is pretty much as far downtown Hartford as you get most of the time. I live in West Hartford, which is a great college town. Downtown West Hartford is awesome. There's restaurants, there's college bars, there is bookstores, there is shopping. The shuttle actually takes you on the weekends from campus to the different places around West Hartford. It takes you to the mall, it has pretty much every single name brand store that you can think of is at the West Hartford Mall. It takes you to Blueback Square, which is where all the good restaurants are. And it takes you to Bishop's Corner, which is the closest to campus, and that has like Target, it has Whole Foods, Big Y, Marshalls, TJ Maxx. It has a few like restaurants. It has Starbucks there. So yes, I would say West Hartford is a great place To live, there's lots of parks. I live close to Elizabeth Park, which has a beautiful rose garden in the spring. All pretty much every single class takes like class pictures there in the spring and like next to like all the roses and like as it's blooming, it's awesome. Downtown Hartford, it's mainly financial. It's more business, so not many people live down there at all. A lot of like the theaters are down there. A lot of businesses in terms of like financial stuff is down there. So if you do productions of A Christmas Carol, or if you do theater works, or if you see a show at the Bushnell, you'll be going down to downtown Hartford. But like as a student in my time here, I haven't spent much time there. The university actually is neither in Hartford or West Hartford. It's in Bloomfield, which is like the next town over, and that is like it's so random because like you get off the highway and you're like you're in the city or whatever, and then all of a sudden boom, mansions everywhere and you're like, where am I? But like it's a very nice area. It's a very safe area. Bloomfield and West Hartford is very safe. I know sometimes obviously Hartford has a connotation of being a little dangerous. In my time here, I've never had or I've never seen or heard of any, dangerous activity. West Hartford and Bloomfield is obviously a lot more residential. It's a lot more, when you think of Connecticut and like just like the quintessential Connecticut town, Bloomfield is very much like that. But yeah, I would definitely say that the area around like West Hartford and Bloomfield, Avon, there's great coffee shops. There's just great areas, and also Hartford is not UHart is not the only college in the area. There is Trinity, there is University of St. Joseph. UConn is only 25, 30 minutes up the road. Quinnipiac is like 20 minutes south too, and the XL Center is like the big stadium in Hartford as well. UConn actually does most of their men's and women's basketball games there now. Concerts come through here. Sabrina Carpenter performed in Hartford in my junior year. So a lot of big artists come through as well. So there's also, besides, music concerts and shows and theater, there's also other things to do and to see as well. So I hope that answered that question
That's
of West
great.
Hartford life. Yes.
I'm going to finish up some of these questions here, and then I know you guys have had long days, so we'll wrap it up, especially you, Nick, there at Chicago Unified. Um, so we have, is dance leveled? Are there opportunities for dance performances, advanced elective dance classes, or dance club? It's best
Trinh,
to,
Haley, do you want to answer one of these questions?
is the dance leveled? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Or Haley, do you want to? Okay. So yes, ballet is leveled in, I believe, three levels within that musical theater division. And then after, if you test up after ballet three, you get to take class with the dance majors, which I think typically more happens with the upperclassmen. And then jazz is leveled in four levels, and so is tap. So yeah, it's very leveled and like very mixed in. Again, we were saying with all the different grades and different abilities, but there's a lot to learn, and it's really great. So yeah.
Is there a dance club on campus? Someone was asking that. I could,
There is a dance team because there are sports teams on campus. I don't, well, actually, the class above me, there was a few girls who were kind of like the manager of the dance team in a way. So like they would like, because obviously our schedules are like very busy. So they would act as like a manager and they would do like guest choreography type of stuff for like the basketball games and stuff like that. Um, you're dancing a lot. You're having ballet, jazz, tap, and also hip hop as well becomes an elective. And as Trin was saying, it's leveled. And after you get to ballet three, if you are a very high skilled dancer, you can actually start dancing in the dance division as well. They offer modern ballet, partnering, Graham, Point, Lamone, all those more classical techniques. So if you get to a certain point in your ballet training and Ralph, who is the head of theater dance, sees you and is like, you need to keep leveling up, you can actually continue your dance in the dance division. And whereas a dance minor is not available just because of the amount of courses it takes up, you can actually still dance in the dance division without having a minor by doing this option. And your weekend before you start classes, you actually have a dance placement audition. So all freshmen come in, and Ralph and I think the other jazz teachers as well were there as well. And he does like does a bar section.
oh, you froze for us. Oh, you're back.
I'm back. I was just saying the dance placement, that's how they place you in dance.
Okay. We have a question. When you apply for the college auditions or unified, and I'm just want to clarify, Deborah, is this for MT or acting? But do they require an actor resume with headshots or a normal one for college? There's nothing needed. When you apply to the college auditions or unified. I mean, normally when you do your application, a resume is required.
Yeah, and then for the auditions, I mean, I can just say today, as you walked into the room, we
Um,
required just a headshot and a resume. And that would be an artistic resume, not a professional resume, and then your actor headshot stapled front to back.
okay. How many times a week are MT majors singing and dancing? So that's one voice lesson a week?
One 50-minute voice lesson a week, your 2-hour masterclass, and then also starting your sophomore year, your 30-minute vocal coaching as well. So that is, and plus your chorus class with your full class. That is also technically singing as well. So you have four, by your sophomore year, four singing classes a week. And then your freshman year, you just take ballet and jazz. Starting your sophomore year, tap as well. And mind you, all these classes besides masterclass and voice lesson and coachings, are an hour and 15 minutes. So your dance classes are an hour and 15 minutes. Your music theory classes are an hour and 15 minutes. Your chorus class is an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, so you're dancing and singing a lot. And I would say the best thing about this program, too, is a lot of it is equal time in each area, which is really good as well.
And just to add, as someone who grew up as like a competition dancer, I was dancing like 10, 12 hours a week. And I thought that I would like, going from, dancing only twice. Well, the way my schedule works, I'm only dancing twice a week this semester. I'm still getting the fix. I'm still getting just as much training and just as much like I'm using my muscles and almost more in a healthier way, I think. And like my technique is definitely getting better and things like that. So I know people kind of see it as like, oh, I think I was just like, oh, I'm only dancing twice a week, but it's still a lot, and I'm still getting really pushed and really worked and really improving. So yeah.
How many students are in each MT and acting class per year?
So for MTs, Kevin says he likes to yield a class of about 25. My senior class is 23. The freshman class I think is exactly 25. 25. And then the juniors and the sophomores are a little bit above. They're closer to like 30. I think there's like 28, 29 in each class. But this upcoming cycle and going forward, he says about for MTs a class of 25. For actor training
Okay.
students, it's a class of about 20. Each actor training class fluctuates as well, but it's always somewhere between like 17 or 18 or 20, 21, 22. So pretty small relatively for a conservatory style training that Hartt offers, but usually in total a class of MTs and ATs are between 40 and 45.
Great. All right. I think I got everyone's questions here. If I missed one, um, pop it in there. Let's see.
I just want to say one quick thing. Since you guys are all auditioning right now, obviously it's a very, very stressful time. I mean, especially since me and Trinh just went through this, we know, I mean, even Nick knows exactly what you guys are feeling. But when I auditioned on my day, I had actually I was having a very bad day. I had a loss in my family that day. So I almost didn't actually go to my audition. But I will say that I was in my info session that morning, and something that Kevin said was, "We want to see you be your best on your worst day." And right then and there I knew that resonated with me so much, because I was like, wow, like they are so rooting for me right now. And that really stuck with me. And actually it was such a big thing that made me want to go to Hartt, because I heard that and I was like, wow. And they just really do deeply care about you, especially in the room. They are so rooting for you. And when you have that sit down interview, they just want to know who you are as a person. That's something super important about Hartt that I personally love. So
Mhm. I love that. And I think that's such a great thing in general, just to know. And you're right there now, Nick, going through the auditions and sitting in there. And it's like people behind the desk want you to do well. They really are rooting for you. I can't imagine anyone sitting and listening to singers and, you know, thinking, oh, I hope they don't do good.
It's true. And these people have been sitting behind the table looking for their next class. They want you to be part of the next class because they want the best for everyone. And something that Kevin says too, that I'll add as well, is he usually says, he's like, I don't care if someone can kick their face, sing the highest note, or do a monologue the best way. I'm looking for someone who is kind and can be a part of the community and can add a great piece to what we're trying to build. So, and that also is something that I have really like held on to, because sometimes I'm like, if I don't hit this A, then I'm not going to be in the program. And like that, at the end of the day, like that's actually not what he's looking for. He's not looking for a note or whatever. And a lot of the questions that he asks after you sing into your monologue are pertaining to who you are as a person, how you interact in an environment such as a musical theater conservatory, and just how you're going to be when you come, because he wants to work with you and he wants you to do great, and he wants to make sure that the people he's bringing into the program are the right people for the program as well.
That's great. Well, I thank you all so much for taking time tonight and talking with all these prospective students. I've learned a lot about Hartt, and it sounds like a great program. And I think that really the takeaway is I love the idea that the vibe of it, and that when you walked in that room and you did that audition, you truly felt like, oh, this is different. This is somewhere where I want to be. So I hope everyone has that experience. And good luck to you all doing your auditions. And for those of you who are just checking out new schools, definitely keep Hartt on the list for the future. Thank you so much. All right, guys, thanks so much for taking the time. You have a great evening. I
Thank you
really,
very
really
much.
appreciate this so much.
Joanne.
It was good to see
Thank you so
you,
much. This
Love
was
you,
great.
Joanne.
Haley.